am so jealous of any Preds and Titans fan who is first taking in the Titans game tomorrow in Houston and then trekking to Dallas to see the Winter Classic on Wednesday. Hell of a road trip to make, Jersey guy. Perhaps that'll be us one day. Hey, at least we have March to look forward to. I never actually said you were coming along just yet. Wait, where are you going? Preds lose 6-4 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Once again, this team falls victim and gets an L when they could have at least very well gotten a point or maybe even the W if they had given a full 60-minute effort. Yeah, they lost on a controversial decision on a goal in the last minute of the game to a team that they've had that happen to before. Hashtag Sisson scored. But they shouldn't have even been in that position in the first place in this game. If this team is on the outside looking in of the playoff bar come April, it'll be just barely, and they can look back at results like this one as to why. UC Saros is in net tonight for the Preds, as was already pre-planned before the game yesterday, but as a result of what happened yesterday, was that really the best course of action tonight? But I will get more into that in the game summary. Definitely not the start the Preds wanted in this game, as in back-to-back games, Rust scores in this one not even a minute into the game on a shot that Saros thought he had covered, and nobody around him talks to each other, and the puck is in the net, 1-0 Pens. Not even 35 seconds later, and it's already 2-0 Pens on a goal by Dominic Calhoun. And guess what? Peter Laviolette still refuses to call a timeout. What gives? I see the Preds bench when it's 2-0 Pens, and this team looks dejected. After being embarrassed at home on Friday night like they were, they start the next game the very next day like this. The message that you have laid out, coach, is not working at the start of the game. As a day one member of this fan base, I would prefer that Preds Nation not have to wait until the off season to make a coaching change. But this front office, if it has any faults, it's that the man in charge, GMDP, is loyal to his coaches to a fault. Preds broadcast informs the viewers how well the Penguins have played defensively at home this season. I remember when the Preds used to be like that back in the day inside Bridgestone Arena. Pens make it 3-0 and still no timeout by the coaching staff. I wish hockey was a little bit more like basketball in the sense that players on the ice should be allowed to call a timeout if the coaching staff on the bench is too weak to do so. A part of me in that first period was sitting here hoping the Pens don't get 10 on the Preds. That's it for Saros tonight as Rene comes into the net to try and mop it up. And in retrospect, even though he hasn't had the greatest performances historically in the city of Pittsburgh, after what UC Saros went through last night in Nashville, Rene should have had this game tonight in Pittsburgh from the get-go. The goalie change seems to have stemmed the tide for the Penguins, and they aren't scoring any more goals, but they are keeping up the pressure, and by the end of the first, when it's 3-0 Pens, they are out shooting the Preds 17-10. The Preds appear to have some jump early in the second and are rewarded with their persistence with a power play. On the setup, Yossi gets it to Yarncroke, Callie one-times it, and the rebound comes right to Victor Arvidsson and he buries it, finally getting the Preds on the board and reducing the Pens' lead to 2. Unfortunately, the Pens would regain their 3-goal cushion after Arvidsson's goal, as the Preds are caught with too many men on the ice, and Craig Smith serves it, and Galchenyuk scores to make it 4-1 Pens. Remember, too many men on the ice penalties are half and half with the blame. Half on the player or players changing, and half on the coaching staff for calling the line change at the right time. Craig Smith would make up for having to serve that too many men on the ice penalty, as with just under 4 minutes to go in the second, Yossi takes the shot from the point down the middle, and the juicy rebound comes right to Craig Smith, who buries it. Preds cut the Pens' lead to 2 again. Now the Preds really appear motivated. Just under a minute to go, Duchesne gets the puck and comes right in front of Murray and hits the post. But the rebound comes right to Michael Grinland, who buries it into the empty net, making a 1-goal game. Question that I'm pondering at this moment as the Preds are making this comeback, and I see the same sentiment on Twitter. Is this because the players have finally had enough and are saying, F it, we'll just do it ourselves? Or is the coach's message finally getting through to the players on this roster? Preds go into the second intermission, only trailing by 1 now after that much better effort on the ice and on the scoreboard, as the shot totals now read 27-26 Preds. Preds continued their effort into the third period, and when called upon, Pekka Rinne makes a great save on a 2-on-1 with Evgeny Malkin and Jake Guentzel barreling down on only him and Jared Tenorti. If you hadn't watched the highlights and only read the box score of what the final result was, you wouldn't know that Pekka Rinne is the reason why this game is so close right now after such a terrible start. Preds keep up the pressure, and at one point in the third period alone, the shots were 14-2 for the Preds, but alas, they still trail by 1. But the good thing for them is at this point in the third period, they are showing much better effort than they did in the first 10 minutes of the game. Preds continue to fight as Josi takes a shot at the net, and in the ensuing scramble, Duchesne takes a stab at it, and Granlund is there to knock it down and jab it in the net. 4-4! That's Michael Grinland's 100th career goal. Game appears to be going into overtime when it all comes crumbling down for the Preds. Just under a minute to go in regulation, Austin Watson is skating partially through Matt Murray's blue crease, and Watson gets hip-checked by Penguins defender Jack Johnson into Murray. Murray goes tumbling from Watson, falling into him, and the refs only call the goalie interference on Watson. Yes, Jack Johnson pushed Austin into Murray, but Austin, you can't be in that situation at that point of the game because the refs are going to call it. Then on the ensuing power play, just over a minute to go in regulation, the Pens are passing the puck around, and Jake Guentzel brings the puck out front to Pekka's left, and he bangs away at the puck and celebrates as if it appears to be in the net. The ref stationed behind the net finally signals that it's a goal, even though there's no way he can possibly clearly see it because Rinne is between him and the puck. The refs go to review it with the initial call of it being a goal, which makes it incredibly hard to overturn it. The officials quickly return and confirm, according to their logic, that it's a goal. But on replay, there is no way you can tell me that the refs see that puck travel completely over the goal line. The only thing to me that makes sense as to why that was called a goal is because the puck does disappear from camera angle, even though you still cannot see white between the goal line and the puck. And since when did the NHL call those goals when the puck disappeared? So why did they start now? Regardless, goal stands. Penguins would get an empty netter, and they win the game over the Preds 6-4. I love the resiliency that this team showed tonight, not to give up until that final whistle. That's great. But too many times this year, they've started the game late and get themselves into deficits that they can't climb out of and get 2 points from the game. And sure, going into this home and home, initially, it looked smarter to start Rinne in Nashville on back-to-back and start Saros in Pittsburgh, since Rinne historically struggles there. But after UC came in relief for Pekka on Friday, why did you come back to Saros tonight, Lavi? Naturally, he was going to be tired being forced to play in back-to-back nights, Lavi. You should have come back to Rinne since he was the more rested one, and perhaps you would have had a chance at 2 points with how this team played after the first 10 minutes of the game. Yes, Rinne has struggled as of late, but he deserved a lot better result after the effort he put in this game tonight. But the team in front of him played less than a 60-minute effort, and he suffers another L. The lineup decisions from this coaching staff, if this coaching staff is allowed to be employed any longer by this team's front office are going to be the ultimate factor in deciding if this team plays deep into April and beyond. I said after the New Jersey win at the beginning of December, not including that win, that this team had to win at least 6 games by the end of the month for me to feel comfortable about them going into 2020 and possibly making the playoffs. Preds have won 5 games since the first Saturday of December win over New Jersey. Preds Nation, it's gonna be close. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, hit like if you liked this video. Hit subscribe if you really liked it. You can find all of my social media links by clicking on the channel name. Tell all of Preds Nation that it's time to play outdoors.